Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. Hello, welcome back. Episode something or other of a Skyrim Addict podcast. I don't know, maybe 80, 81, something like that. You can, quick little things out of the way. You can follow the show on, you can follow it on Instagram, Skyrim Addict Podcast. I've been posting some screenshots there. On Twitter at a Skyrim Addict, and you can join the Facebook group, which will be in the show notes. Actually, all that will be in the show notes, so you can just click on the links there to do that. Other than that, if you have a chance and you'd like to leave a review, do that on iTunes. That would be awesome. And, okay, that's all out of the way. So, sure, it's a little late this week because, I was going to record. Well, I usually record on Sundays. But it was just a busy week, so I didn't get a chance. And then, for some reason, power went out twice yesterday in the house while I was trying to get the Fallout Feed Roundtable edited up. And, so that was fun. So I had to run a generator to get that done. And so it left no time to record, unfortunately. But so I have been still going with my Necromancer. And I finished up the whole Dragon Priest mask. Well, it was a quest. The mod gave me some markers and stuff for it. So I went around basically to each place and pick up the masks. And I ended up heading to, I cannot even tell you the last time I went here, but Foralhost, which is like directly southeast of Riften. Like if you were to draw a right angle from Riften to Fort Dawnguard, it would be kind of like on the point of it, on the top of the mountain there. I cannot even tell you the last time I was there. It has to be a solid 2 years. Because the only quests related to this are the Alteration Ritual spell for the dragon, was it called? Dragonhide, I believe. Is that what it's called when for that top level alteration spell? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Where you have to get Kavazane's Fang, the Dragon Priest Dagger, the specialized one. I haven't done that in, God, I don't even know how long. It's got to be close to 2 years. And the only other quest that really goes through there is Siege of the Dragon Cult, which you pick up there when you get there. And I just happened to cross it because I was doing all the Dragon Priest masks because I hadn't done that in so long. And I went in and got the other mask and all that. But so Foralhost, which was awesome. It was so fun because it was like a new experience because I barely remembered it. It had been so long, which is crazy that you can come across things in this game that I can, I play the game on a pretty regular basis for the last, 27 years or whatever it's been at this point. 4 and change years, 4.5 years or whatever, 4.25 years. And I completely overlook this place every time. But it's a pretty cool ruin. You head up there. It's up in the mountains. And there's a guy there. I believe he can be either Imperial Stormcloak, depending on your who you're going with in the Civil War. I'm not really into the Civil War quest line at all. But I believe he was Imperial for me. Not that it mattered. What's his name? Valmir. So I talked to him. And he's like, there's some cultists. Can you get, or some dragon cult thing? We're trying to get the information about it. Blah blah blah. Maybe you could go in there. And I'm like, this guy, he seems sketchy. He seems like those bandits you come across that are dressed up as Imperial soldiers. That are like they're standing next to bodies that are stripped naked, wearing Imperial gear, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're Imperial soldiers. There's nothing going on here." So he struck me that way. There is a word wall here. It's the Stormcall is up there. So So you head in, and it's your typical ruins. You know, paths are blocked off. You take a longer way around, and there are the ghosts of the dragon cult in there. They kind of pop up as you get closer to them. Um, I forgot they were in there, so I kind of ran in there at first and got whacked a couple times. But I'm rolling with my Dremora Lord Army right now, so things went pretty smoothly. I died a few times here and there, getting whacked by errant arrows, or because I've put nothing into my health. My health is still 100, even though I'm level. I'm not sure. I'll check my level in a second, but I'm in around 35, 40, something like that. But all of my points have gone into Magicka. I'm not putting anything into health or stamina at all, and I'm just rolling with the conjuration slash necromancy angle. So that I've been going in that direction. So anyway, I head in there. You're fighting your way through the ghosts, and obviously there's always Draugr floating around. There's some journals in there that give you some, they kind of let you know what happened, how the ghosts came to be there. Yeah, you head into a second section. The crypts are always broken down, and same thing. There's some Draugr, typical enemies, blah blah blah. Some spiders, other things like that. Nothing crazy. Some stuff like that. Frost Antranax, or were they fire? I don't even remember. Or maybe the cultists were doing it. I don't know. But you go through that area, and then you get to like a puzzle area after that. And that one was this one was where it was like a pedestal in the middle of the room, and you had to. I think that was this one. I think this one was the. Was this one? I'm trying to think. I played one. I'd gone through so many. No. This was just okay. You just get the glass claw here, and then there's the puzzle door, and you look at your thing, and so then you meet with Ragat, who is the dragon priest, and then of course you have to battle him. So he rises. Obviously, a bunch of Draugr rise. I think they were Death Lords for me. They weren't carrying a lot of ebony gear yet, though. So I guess because I'm only level 36. I know when you get higher, they're mostly carrying ebony stuff. But because when I went through the main story, they weren't really carrying it yet then either. And I haven't really leveled up a lot since then. Because my conjuration's been 100 for a while, and I'm using that a lot. So obviously it's not leveling up any. I have been using more destruction as I battle, especially battling the dragons and stuff. But so then after you do that, you beat Raga, and you head out, you get your word wall, and there you can jump back down into the courtyard and battle the two guys there who are out there, who basically just tricked you into going in, so you could get the information for them. That was essentially what happened. But no, it was really cool because it had been so long that it was almost like a new experience. I mean, obviously I remembered some of it, but a lot of it I didn't really remember any specifics or anything like that. Let's see. Pull up my stats a little bit. Let's see what quests I've also finished. That's part of Worm's Tooth. The Dragon Priest mask. Okay, because I completed that. Equipped the wooden mask and got the more powerful mask, the Kona Hrik, or I think that's how you say it, mask. So I got that. I also obviously completed Siege of the Dragon Cult, and a couple of the other ones I did were the I finished Blood on the Ice, and I did it this time smoothly, and nothing went wrong. I know Blood on the Ice is one of those funky quests. It accidentally started on me because I just happened to go into Windhelm for something, and I was like, I have to finish this, or it's just going to be messed up. So I ended up, catching the murderer and not imprisoning Woundfirth this time accidentally. I got the right murderer at the right time. Well, and it helps when you know who it is. So there is that. But yeah. So right now I am. So next episode I'll be talking about Worm's Tooth because I've been playing that mod, quest mod. Fantastic. Really enjoying it so far. Basically, you're sent off to an island area, like a mining island, kind of, where they're having some dragon issues. So you head off on a dragon hunt. First, I think you had the Ancient's Ascent first. You meet a dragon there. I tried to dragon rend him. It did not work because it would have ruined the whole quest. So then I head off to, I guess the land is called Worm's Tooth. Yeah, it's a place called Worm's Tooth. So I head out there. You take a boat there. Right now I have so many dragon bones. I probably need to come back and get rid of them. But there's some cool spells over there too for carry weight and things like that. So I'll get into that more next week because I want to play through the entire main quest of it. I know there's some other stuff on the side, some exploring and all. Really enjoying the whatchamacallit, voice acting, just and the look of it. Really enjoying it quite a lot. So that's where I'll be heading on the next episode. Oh boy, Strike of Lightning. Sorry, Strike of Lightning in the game. So skills wise, I have a perk available. I'm level 68 Destruction now. I'm sitting at level 40. My conjuration is still 100. Illusion actually is 59. I don't know what I've been using it on though. I'm trying to think. I've been working a lot on my enchanting because I want to get that to 100. Right now I'm sitting at 97. Because with Ordinator I can get Miracle, which is the 3 enchantments that are up to 50% stronger on one item. So, and you'll never be able to repeat this feat. So I want to do that. And actually, once I get that, maybe I will go legendary and enchanting to allow me to continue to level up. Because enchanting stuff, selling it, pretty easy way to level up. That, and I'll also probably be doing alchemy. My smithing's actually 44, but I just make jewelry with that. So that's all that is. So yeah. Sneak wise, I'm 60s. So the stuff I'm leveling up is all stuff that you just kind of level up as you go along. Nothing that I'm grinding or anything. But I'm probably going to start putting a little more into destruction because I'm using that once I get through the final enchanting level. Although, yeah, I want to make my last set of gear, one good set of gear with the enchanting. I'll make the robes with the 3 enchantments on it, and I'll make some good stuff for myself. And I have Lydia with me, and she has some good stuff as well. I have her loaded up pretty good. So then I'll probably go legendary on that after that, because it's something that you can level up. And I have a bunch of soul gems, so it'll be good to use them. And I gave her, she has something with fiery soul trap on it, maybe a bow. But she's been using double staffs, actually. She has a lightning staff and a fireball staff. And thankfully, they don't hurt me generally. But yeah, she's been blasting stuff. So I got her set up with staffs. She's rolling with heavy armor, double staffs, tearing things up. We have our Dremora Lords. We have one more on the mainland. We make some bone warriors, some skeleton warriors. So I'm going to make some more of them coming up here. I got a bunch of bones I have sitting back at my house. I think they're at the house. Where are they at? It's weird. I'm keeping my dragon bones in Breeze home, and everything else is up at the mage's quarters, archmage's quarters. I've been using that as my home base since finishing the mage's college. So maybe I should transfer them, but they weigh so much, so I'm not really gonna worry about transferring them. The one spell, the carry weight spell I got is plus 100. So it's nice, but you know how those dragon bones are. They weigh, 15 and then 10 for the scales. So they add up mighty quickly. And I think I battled like 3 dragons within, I don't know, couple minutes on Worm's Tooth, so I'm getting a crap load. And two of them were elder dragons, so there was 3 bones and 3 scales. So they were adding up fast. I don't know that I'm ever going to need those because I'm not really putting anything into smithing, unless I do some smithing to give Lydia better gear. I mean, that's always an option. Maybe I'd see how long I can keep her alive this time. I tend to lose her, so I'd like to keep her alive. That would be awesome. And I can make a set of stuff. I got to make some stuff to keep in the side in case I lose her and I need somebody else. So I don't want to lose stock. All right, so I have some feedback from Dave. Let me get to the first one here. Oh, and we had the first Fallout roundtable this week. That is up on the Fallout feed now. As you know, the roundtable slid over there for a while to do some Fallout stuff, and it should be a good time. The first part of the first episode is up there. It's the full thing's on YouTube, but the first part of the episode is on the feed itself, broken up like it was here because they're so long. Tend to keep it around an hour and a half to 2 hours on the audio show instead of like 3 or 4 hours. Alrighty. So David's back in ESO, and let's see. He just completed a couple higher sections of the Majors Guild, the Fighters Guild, and the Undaunted, and now he's about to hit level 21. He believes that he likes the quests. They're excellent, and he loved the quest with Sheograth. The Wabbajack made another appearance before going back to the Mad God. All good stuff. All for a bloody book, mind you. The Undaunted quest was a 5-person group quest. My guildies and I ran that one. We only realized after we had started that we didn't have a healer with us. That made it a bit tough, but we got through without dying with good teamwork. Good fun was had by all, I think. Rewards were pretty good. On the main quest, I have also repatriated Lyris Titanborn and have just saved Abner Tham and fought Manamarco's projection with a bit of help from Lyris and Abner and my faithful wee beastie. I have also now found out who the prophet actually is. This is definitely starting to get legs. Man, I got to get back into this. I've also noticed some of the side quests can be challenging if you try them at 2 or 3 levels before the recommended level. I strongly suggest you learn to harvest soul gems as soon as you can for your level range and the next one up. Good news on the thieving front, my street cred is up and I can now get 110 items laundered and fenced. More cash for me if I don't get caught. So, on to the latest journal. So, Voices in My Head, an extract from the Journal of McBeta Blackstone. McBeta obviously transferred from Skyrim to ESO. Not, game-wise transferred, but character-wise. I was awakened by an image in my head of the prophet telling me to go to the harborage. What and where in Oblivion was the harborage? He had apparently managed to create a base in a cave somewhere just outside of Davon's Watch. It was just east of the harbor, so I guessed that's why he called it the harborage. I'm really uncomfortable with this form of message. I just can't discuss with anyone about hearing voices in my head telling me what to do. They would think I was mad or weird or someone strange. What's worse to me is that the image is always very clear. An old man, Imperial Mage by the looks of him, he is quite bedraggled, looks half-starved, tired, and weary. He's dressed in an old robe, tied at the waist, with ragged sash. He has worn-out sandals, carries a large pouch, and oh yes, he is obviously blind. His voice is really quite compelling for some strange reason. He keeps calling me Vestige, which annoys me, and I really don't know why. I never argue or talk back to him. People would think I was talking to myself, making me appear more mad than I am. Mind you, that may be true for all I know. I just don't seem to be able to ignore him when he is in my head. It's actually a bit creepy, to be honest. What's even stranger is that the harborage was now marked on my map. I headed down to the harbor and along the sand at the water's edge. I got out my bow. Maybe I could bag a few mud crabs or something. Good bow practice. I needed it. I managed to get a couple of little buggers when suddenly I spotted a Dre. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's probably from the game, and I'm terrible at those things. Dreugh. I guess it would be Dre. I don't know. I suppose you could call them large, spindly-like crabs with torsos and faces, ugly-looking things. Into sneak mode and crept along, keeping rocks between me and my prey. It took 6 arrows to get the damn thing down. Bow skill is definitely low. I managed to kill off another 2 with only 8 arrows between them. My bow skill is now improving. I got 4 fish and some rawhide scraps for my efforts. I found the harborage up the hill from the shoreline. It was a deep cave with a door-like entrance, which led to an open cavern area. The prophet was finally there in person. He was not an image this time. He welcomed me into his home, and I looked around. Plenty of barrels and sacks, a sleeping area, a cooking area, bookshelf full of books. How in oblivion did he read them? He was blind for Sith's sake. He said he wanted to tell me the story of the cause of this nightmare, and I was in. Would I let him meld with it? Would I let him mind meld me? I agreed. I needed to know what in oblivion this was all about. He laid his hand on my shoulder, and suddenly I was in a circular area with a brazier with what looked like a scroll spinning above it. Then there were 5 figures standing there. He identified them one by one. Lyrius Titanborn. I already knew from somewhere, but she was somehow different. She was the woman who swapped places with the prophet. The next was Abner Tharn, a sorcerer, and apparently the Grand Chancellor to the Imperial Elder Council. Then came Sai Sahan, who was in charge of the Imperial Dragon Guard. They all looked after Varan Aquilarios, who was the Imperial Emperor. Last was Metamarco, a powerful necromancer and supposedly my executioner. I'm not convinced I was actually executed. I was trapped in some sort of time vortex after stepping through a portal and became ever so slightly discorporated. Maybe it was him, but I wasn't so sure. I watched as Tharn attempted to light the dragon fire in the brazier. And Manimarco started a spell which was supposed to confirm Varan as Dragonborn, but which ended in all of them apparently dying apart from Manimarco. They had their souls ripped from their bodies. It looked like a real mess. Manimarco laughed as all this happened and told them, as they screamed in agony, that it was all the plan of Moloch Baal to take Tamriel into his realm of oblivion. Gods, what a bloody awful way to die. Then I was back beside the prophet in Harborage, shaken and appalled at what I had just seen. The prophet told me that I would need to gather strength to assemble the companions. The first one, Lyris, I met in Cold Harbor, but he needs time to determine her exact location. He will contact me again when he has that knowledge. I was given a ring and some gold. Didn't do anything, but he insisted that I take them. I headed back to Davin's Watch, thoughtfully, and almost missed the shining sky shard. I got another bit of my life back, I thought, and headed back for food. Plenty of strong drink, and eventually bed. So that was the first update from a mech beta there. There we go. So ESO is ruling him at the moment. Let's see. He was level 7 when he undertook. Now he's 21, but he's calmed down and gone back to a slow playstyle again. So he did because his playstyle generally is slower leveling wise. Things are really quite interesting this level, and I've come across stuff and quests all over the damn place. Let's see. So he does use the Mither tongue of the Dunmer in the journal here, so that should be fun for me. It should be considered a dialect of Elvish as spoken by non-Tolkien elves. Here we go. Dumbfunert and Schooner. An extract from the journals of McBeta Blackstone. Ser Dumbfunert, I thought to myself. Jan Reeves Guild Heis mir San Schooner. These lapses in the ancient Dunmer language, rather than more common lingua imperia, were an obvious sign of stress. I've experienced this off and on the last few days. Here I am trying an honest, dishonest living, and I'm being stopped by the scrimpet rules of the Thieves Guild. Gods, they aren't even here, and they have cast a mort charge over all my enterprises. I am Ser Schooner, extremely and positively really pissed off in lingua imperia. See what I mean about a few words? The buggers are really insisting on their limits. Bastards. Even the fences are getting brain weed their fashery. I needed away from the town and maybe do a bit of fishing along the coast. Try and ease the tension and relax a bit. Stop pushing myself too much and keep the buggers off my back. I headed down to the harbor, onto the beach, and just headed east along the shoreline. I took my bow with me. Wee Beastie was sent packing back to Oblivion for a rest, or whatever the Clanfear do in Oblivion when not working. I got a few mud crabs, some dro, and a couple of wild guar for some reason. Oh yes, and a couple of spiders. As I headed up to the top of the headland, I heard the sounds of fighting and the screams and curses of people and things being injured. I rounded a large outcrop of rock and looked in amazement at what I can only call a dark fissure. There were a couple of Banekin and Clanfear in a dark cloudy area causing serious harm to a poor Argonian, who was only armed with a knife. His bow was lying smashed near his wagon. Away with the bow, and out with my trusty staff of flames. I called up Wee Beastie and cursed the Clanfear before tackling the Banekin. Wee Beastie hit that Clanfear right in the midriff, and then swung its tail around and had the thing over the cliff top before it knew I hit it. I blasted one Banekin with my flame staff a couple of times, and it dropped to its knees, as though begging me to stop. I didn't, and down it didn't. Begging me to stop. I didn't, and down it went. Wee Beastie hit another one and bowled it over, and then trampled it to death. What a clever Clanfear. Job done, I thought. A crash of lightning and a thundering sound, and now there was a frost atronach and two more Banekin. This is going to be slightly harder than I thought. I cursed the Banekin twins and then ran whilst the frost atronach lumbered after me. Between dodging this monstrosity and the shock attacks of the two Banekin, I managed to eventually get the enemy down to one frost atronach. By Oblivion, it was bloody huge and tough. It was slow, though. My flame staff was wearing it down very slowly. Wee Beastie was interfering nicely, though. She did have to be recalled more often than I would have liked. The atronach was a fearsome thing. All I had to do was keep out of range and hit it with flame bolts from my staff. Flame bolts were pretty freaking amazing. I was completely exhausted by the time Wee Beastie and I got the brute down. Any more of them, and I would have been done for. The Argonian hunter was dead, shocked by the Banekin and trampled by the Clanfear. I slept at his camp, with Wee Beastie keeping watch. I was too tired to bother trying to stay awake. I just kept in close to the rocks while she walked up and down. Yes, I know it's really an... Sorry, my throat got dry there. Yes. I know it's really in it, but she saved my bacon a couple times. There are no obvious male appendages, so she is now a she as far as I'm concerned. A bloody useful one, too, I may add. Doesn't cook nor do the washing, though. Bloody female emancipation sucks at times. Oh, God. Alrighty. That was the final mech beta, and he has a little he has a Skyrim one here. So he must have. Oh, he feels like he leveled up too quickly in ESO, and he feels he may have missed a few quests in the lower level areas. So he's back to Skyrim with Makachia and a bit of break from chasing Daedric lords to clean up the skooma trade in Riften. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good quest. Breaking a skooma habit, an extract from the notes of Makachia Blackstone, who is, of course, the sister of McBeta, and she is trying to search for him as she journeys around Skyrim, for those who don't know. I just finished arguing with Vex about her lack of imagination for burglary jobs. This was the fourth job in Riften she had offered, and I turned it down flat again. Boring, boring, boring. Give me a job with a challenge for Sith's sake, I told her. I headed down to the docks to calm down and almost knocked over Wujida, one of the Argonian female fishery workers. She looked absolutely dreadful. Her scales were dry and discolored, her eyes were puffy and bloodshot. She was crying about her skooma addiction, which she was trying to quit. She asked if I could help her stop. If she didn't stop, she was going to lose her job. I gave her a strong healing potion, and she thanked me and offered a silver necklace as payment, which I refused. She eventually told me this sorry tale of her skooma addiction, what she had got on board a ship coming here to Riften. She told me of the local dealer who worked out of the Riften warehouse on the docks over on the north side. She explains that the dealer, Sathis Idrin, always has the warehouse locked, and that only the Jarl has another key. I don't like skooma dealers. They profit from an addictive drink which they usually introduce to the person cheaply. Once hooked, of course, the price goes up until they are destitute, and then they are just discarded until they get more money. They give thievery and the guild a bad name. I spoke to the Jarl and easily got the key from her. She's another sorry piece of womanhood, led by the nose by her advisor, and has a complete flake of a wizard who gets confused getting up in the morning. Luckily, the wizard's robe is in one piece over the head type with a symbol on the front. Otherwise, she would be in trouble. Of course, Maven Blackfriar took full advantage of deceiving the stupid, weak-willed, self-obsessed Jarl of Riften. No wonder the Thieves Guild was free to do what it wanted. Not that I'm really complaining, mind you. It just makes life here boring. Hence my argument with Vex. She better have a more interesting job than stealing a golden urn from some local idiot. If not, the argument will continue and could possibly get violent. Anyway, I got Sapphire and Dirge to come with me to the warehouse. Dirge held Sathis in a close embrace, a headlock, whilst I showed him the error of his ways. He assured me that Riften would be skooma-free as soon as I got his boss in Craglorn Cave. Ah, that confirmed the note I found on the table along with several skooma bottles. They mysteriously fell into the floor and shattered, every one of the bloody things. I asked if the butcher was still running the dogfighting pit in there. He nodded yes vigorously. Unfortunately, Dirge misread the movement and broke his neck. Oh, Dirge, you really need to be more careful. Not everybody's built like you. I chastised him carefully. Dirge does have quite a temper and needs careful handling when being criticized. I confirmed with the Jarl that we had found the source, and she authorized me to go ahead and close it down. This time I took Dirge and Lydia. Lydia had brought the girls down to see Vex and Delvin for a bit of one-on-one training. Lydia did not approve. They were fine. In fact, they were enjoying the freedom of the sewers. Nobody was going to touch them down there. Word had been sent out that the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood were looking after them. Anyway, Tunia was with them. They liked her, and she was like a big sister. She was teaching them some mercantile skills. At Craglorn Cave, I noticed that the bouncers hadn't changed their ways. Pit wolves in cages, ready to be unleashed at the sign of trouble. I killed the wolves from the ledge above the cages with one shot each. The bouncers were next. They were sent to oblivion by my slow time shout and a couple of daggers coated in poison. We put the bodies in the cages with the pit wolves. Down into the cave proper. and the one bouncer minding the entrance died when Dirge hit him with his fists. Guys, he really is brutal. I noticed Lydia approved of the method. Down we went to a gallery just above the pit. I released a fire atronach to create a bit of panic. Then me, Dirge, and Lydia plowed through and cleaning up as we went. The barman escaped up the stairs and ran into my knives. Silly man. So nearly all clear, just the butcher. I knew him of old. He always wore heavy armor and always had large double-headed steel axe, which was very good at using. I just sent the fire atronach into his quarters behind the fighting pit and waited. Out he came, slightly smoldering, and Dirge and Lydia finished him off. Lydia is a demon with that ebony axe I gave her. Those drain stamina and health double enchantments are really brutal. She is good at killing, but just not Dark Brotherhood material. She prefers to do it face-to-face with axe and shield Nord style. I approve, but for different reasons. She is my house Carl, after all. A good one, loyal, closed mouth, and very good at her job of protecting what is mine. We returned to Riften, and I spoke to the Jarl. She seemed pleased, and I suggested I was well on my way to becoming Thane. A Thane of Riften under that useless piece of detritus. Detritus is not going to happen. Sorry, I'm joking. As soon as I get to the bottom of Mac Beta's disappearance, I'm taking a very active role in ridding Skyrim of these Stormcloaks and their pretend king in waiting, Jarl Ulfric of Windhelm. People need to remember I'm an Imperial agent, Blade Assassin, and very pro-Empire. For all the Empire's faults, it has kept around 10 races of human, mer, and reptile from fighting each other seriously for at least 400 years. Not a bad heritage. The only thistle in the hay are the bloody Thalmor, and I have marked their cards. I need a drink to wash the bad taste out of my mouth. So that was the latest update from Makachi Blackstone, who sounds like Ulfric is in her crosshairs. I look forward to that. I wonder if she will find out what happened to Mac Beta. That'd be interesting. So that's it for the show. I'm going to hopefully do the Worm's Tooth show coming up this weekend, probably Sunday morning. Once I play some more of that, I want to get as fully into it as possible. If you've played through it and you'd like to send your thoughts on it, go ahead. It's SkyrimAddict@gmail.com. Other than that, that's all I got for this time. And I will see you later. Thanks for listening to this episode of Skyrim Addict. You can find all of our contact information, YouTube channel information, as well as other shows over at asapodcasting.com, including our newest show, The Fallout Feed. Special thanks to Claire Lafar for the show's artwork. You can find her stuff at etsy.com/MayaFirePrints, MayaFirePrints. And a thank you to Dan Bull for the use of his music in the Roundtable open and close. You can find him on YouTube or iTunes. Just search Dan Bull. Once again, thanks for listening, and later, everyone.